Good morning, guys. We have our final geometry project here. So on this project, it's a review of your distance formula and your midpoint formula. So you've basically got a scavenger hunt or a treasure hunt to find Descartes' treasure. So as you read through the riddle, basically it's asking you over and over again to either use the distance formula or the midpoint formula to find the distance between 2 points on the map. So we'll go ahead and I'll do the first one with you so you can kind of see how it works. So remember, your distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now remember, it doesn't matter which point you assign as number 1 and number 2 as long as you're consistent. Okay, so our first clue over here, here's our map, wants us to find the distance between Pirates Post and Mystic Mountain. So if you look on the map, Pirates Post is right here at the origin. So its ordered pair is 0, 0. Okay, and then Mystic Mountain is up here. It's over 8 units and up 4 units. So its ordered pair is 8, 4. Okay, so we'll call this point here number 2 and this one number 1. Okay, so that means that this here is x2, y2, x1, y1. Okay, so I'm going to set up my distance formula. So I'm going to do my square root symbol. And I'm going to say x2. x2 is the first number in the second ordered pair, which is 8, minus x1, which is 0, squared, plus y2, which is the 4, minus y1, which is the 0, squared. Once you set up your formula, all you have to do is do the math inside your parentheses first. 8 minus 0 is simply 8 squared, plus 4 minus 0 is 4 squared, still under the square root symbol. So then I do 8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64, and 4 times 4 is 16, still under the square root symbol. And then 64 plus 16 is 80. And so my last step is simply to do the square root of 80. And if you type that into your calculator, it comes out to 8.944 yada yada. We're just going to round it out to 8.9. And that's your answer. Now, on a couple of the little riddle clues, you're going to have to answer for the midpoint formula. So I am going to skip over to one that does that, so just to remind you how to do the midpoint formula. Let's see. Okay, if you go to clue number 4, the second question on clue number 4, what's the midpoint between Hydro Sea and Swimmer's Slip? So Hydro Sea, go back to my map here. Hydro Sea is right here, which is at -1, -2. Okay, so, and Swimmer's Slip is up here. That is at -4, +3. Okay. So I'm just going to show you the midpoint formula again. Remember, the midpoint formula is actually 2 separate formulas. You have your formula for your x to get you your x coordinate of your midpoint, and your formula for your y's to get your y coordinate of your midpoint. So it's 2 separate math problems to make an ordered pair. Okay? So first one I'm going to do my fraction bar. I want x1 plus x2. So I'm going to say -1 plus -4 divide by 2. That gives me -5 on top over 2. And if I divide -5 by 2, that gives me -2.5. Okay, so that's the x coordinate. Now I got to do the same thing with my y's. So I'm going to say y1 and y2, add those up, -2 plus 3. Divide by 2. Now remember, when you add a positive and negative, they actually subtract. So that leaves me with 1 over 2. And if I divide that out, I get 0.5. And the last step is to simply take that and make it into an ordered pair of x comma y. So my final answer, I'm going to do parentheses, negative 2.5, comma, oh, it's not negative, sorry, the next one's positive, 0.5. Okay, and if I go back and look at my map, that should look like it's in the middle of those two locations. So if I go to my map and I go negative 2.5 and up 0.5, right about here, if you look at these two locations, that looks like it is in the middle of those two dots, okay? And once again, guys, if y'all ever need help, you're more than welcome to call me. Remember, my number is 936-777-3922. Have a good one, guys.